Hi friends, welcome to Shine. Look, I got a new sign that I had at the house for the last probably 5-6 years. Welcome to Shine with Marlena Cortez and Mark Sedgwick. Happy Thursday. I hope you're having an amazing week, and it's right before the Thanksgiving holidays. So I know a lot of you are going to be out for the holiday season, celebrating, getting together with your family, with friends. And today we want to talk about a very special topic, which is friendships, how to have healthy friendships, and how to stay in a good relationship with your family. So I hope today's program helps you to just shine brighter, not just with your family, but with your friends. And please, let's welcome Mark Sedgwick for the quote of the day.
Hello, everybody. As she said, I'm happy to be back. As always, I'm Mark Sedgwick. And yeah, the quote for today is a very simple one, but very powerful one. It goes like this: behind every great man and woman is a great team. So yeah, that's the quote for today.
Yes, and that's exactly what we are talking about. You know, when you start creating your army of friends, or the people that are going to be right in each and every battle, because that's kind of how I like to think about it. It's an army of friends that they're going to help you in any battle that you're facing in your life, and also be there for all these amazing celebrations. I'm lucky to have some really amazing friends since I was a little child. I'm still best friends with Claudia Rivera since we were 9 years old. I also have friends in Cuernavaca, Morelos, Mexico. We stay in touch via Facebook. Ana Rosa, I love you so much. She was my friend since middle school. And of course, the friends that I had with, like, my cousin Betty, we have the same birthday, and she happened to be born in Mexico. I was born in the U.S., but the moment we met in Mexico, we were inseparable, and we grew up together and had some really good and also some bad moments, but we always learned to, tackle each of those problems or challenges in our lives, and we're able to stay friends. But Mark, you have a friend today that is visiting us. Mark has been friends with this young man because now they grew up, but since second grade, and his name is... Why don't you introduce him?
Yeah, I'm going to introduce him for us. But yeah, so today we have my really good friend here today, as we're going to be talking about the power and the adventures and the purpose of friends. So please welcome my best friend, one of my best friends, greatest friends of all time I've ever had, Joseph Miller. So Joey, what? Hello. Yeah, say hi.
Hola.
What's up? Yeah, so... where can we start? We can start off with a question, or how do you want to do this, Mom?
Well, I know that. Why don't you start telling us the story how you met Mark? Remember, we kind of met in the street because we were living in the same apartments.
Oh yeah. So this dates back about 14 years ago, something like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
We were little kids, and we were outside. I was on a scooter. I was just kind of playing around with my cousin. We were just out, having a nice time. And then we see this kid on the opposite side of the street of the neighborhood. And we're kind of like, who's this kid? And then he sees us. And then he tells me that his mom told him to go say hi to us. And that's kind of what started it all, was he came up to us, and then it just kind of happened from there.
Yeah.
It was just very natural at that point.
Yes, and I really, honestly, I think I'm very good at picking friends. I actually introduced two of my very good friends to each other, and two friends have gotten married, two sets of different friends. So I'm always very good at connecting people. But I remember I saw you, and I saw the interaction you were having and with your cousin, I guess. And I also, I knew that we had just moved to these apartments, and I wanted Mark to also, kind of meet a new friend in the new place that we were at. But I noticed the moment I met you, I could tell that you guys were gonna be good friends, because you were very calm, kind of shy little boy, and I was like, Mark was the opposite. Mark was more a little
crazy.
No, I wouldn't say crazy, but you were more assertive, and you were more outgoing, kind of like me, because you're a lot like me, more hyper. And he had more energy. But so I was like, man, if they could meet and they could learn to balance each other, where maybe Mark can give you some of his tips and you can learn some of Joey's tips.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think you were. I don't mean to say that you're lying or anything, but I don't think that you were thinking that. I think that was just kind of a beautiful coincidence that happened. You know, I know you. I'm sure
Yeah.
you saw them. And you're like, oh, you know, maybe they're. My son can meet them. Because I remember.
I
We
push
were in the
you.
car.
I push
Oh,
you
you
to
definitely
meet 'em.
pushed me. You definitely pushed
Yeah.
me. And it was such a like a beautiful thing that I just look back on all the time, and it's just like. Because she said, "Hey, look at those kids in the street. Go make some friends." Because we just moved, and I had no
Yeah.
friends really
Yeah.
there. So I was like, "No, Mom, they look weird." So I guess you did notice that. You must have noticed
Yeah,
that.
they were different. They
They're
were not your
different, yeah.
typical kids that are out there getting into trouble. And
Yeah.
I mean, I'm honestly not lying. I always looked at people. I always been an observer. I'm a
Yeah,
people's
yeah.
person, and I can tell you in a few seconds. In just a few seconds from even watching a person or talking to a person, what kind of person they are.
Yeah,
And
I
I'll be honest. I've been good at picking friends, and I'm surrounded by a lot of good friends. Unfortunately, there are some people that change because friends sometimes will change, and you got to learn to let go of the bad friends, or you got to learn to stop. The interaction between people that start doing drugs or get into trouble, or that they even end up in jail.
Or they just have bad intentions for you. Maybe they're
Yes.
selfish and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Jealousy also plays a really bad influence on keeping a friendship.
Yeah, and before we move on about that, I just want to say, it was really cool that you pushed me to go meet this guy that now I'm friends with, this little guy that I met that day, and now we're like best of friends like years later. It's just crazy how you pushed me. I was like, no, they're weird kids. I don't want to go meet them, right?
Yes.
But you pushed me and you said, no, Mark, go make some friends. It like you just basically told me that I can't really get anything bad out of this. All I can do is learn from it, and I thought that was so beautiful. It's so important for parents to like push their kids to go make some friends,
and make new friends,
and push them to grow. Because otherwise, then the kid will just always be shy in their little shell always. If their mom or dad doesn't push them to get out of it, right?
Yes, exactly.
that's so
And
important.
I'm all about also sharing your gifts. And I really always knew that you had a gift, Mark. As you've always been a good friend. You've been a good kid. So I wanted you to also, continue to kind of connect with other kids and learn from one another. And you also share your gifts with others. So it turns out that we ended up meeting this amazing family, and you guys have been friends now for a long time. 14 years is not easy to keep friends for that
Yeah.
long. And then I was the one that was driving you across town every time Joey moved,
Yeah.
and I was the one in the
Or
car.
we moved as well. We always
Yes.
moved apart for years and years, right?
Yes.
We lived so far from each other, but we still
An
stayed
hour
connected.
and something away when you guys moved to Spring, Texas. And
Yeah.
I used to drive 1 hour and probably like 25 minutes to get to his house, and then another hour and 25 minutes to go home. So every time I would take him on a weekend, it was 3 hours. And your parents did the same thing. But let's talk about healthy friendships.
Okay.
What does it take? And Joey, think about this. What has kept y'all's friendship healthy?
So I'll let Joey go first, unless you want me to go first.
Sure. I think something that every healthy friendship should have is commitment. Because commitment is what is required to maintain a friendship. And if it's a one-sided friendship, even if one friend is trying to exude that commitment, they're not going to be able to maintain a friendship if the other person isn't willing to put in the work to make it, work.
Yeah, it's two-sided.
That's right.
Exactly.
Right, always, yeah.
How about you, Mark?
Well, a healthy friendship, man, that's so true. What Joey just said, it's a two-sided thing. Both have to be in it for each other. I feel like so many people are in friendships for selfish reasons. But at the end of the day, it's about helping each other grow, and maybe not necessarily always about you. You also, if you really love and care for that person and that friend of yours or family member, then the truth is you have to also think about them. Sometimes go out of your way and sacrifice for that friend of yours, right? I think that's so important.
Yes, that's right. And
How about you?
for me, it's a few other things. I actually it's not that I have a list, but I'm a writer, so I write everything down. And I remember when I was in Mexico, I wrote a poem about friendship. I really did, and it was called Tu amistad es como tener oro. Your friendship is like having gold. And this poem was about how I looked at my friends as gold. And it was something special. It was something beautiful in my life. And I mean, I was 10 years old when I wrote this poem. And so I guess I must have been thinking very deep about my friends, and they were very important. And I remember when I used to come visit my mother in the United States, after I was 10 years old and find out, about my mother, I would meet some friends, which included Claudia. And even though I lived in Houston, I lived in Mexico and she lived in Houston, we would write letters to each other. We had that commitment that Joey mentioned of writing each other despite the distance. We did not have the cell phones, when also the long distance calls were crazy expensive. So the only way we could communicate with each other was through being a pen pal. How many of you remember pen pal back in the old days?
Man.
Not you guys, but I'm
Nope,
talking
I
about the
don't.
people that are listening. Pen pal was just a system where we could write letters to each other to communicate with people and friends around the world. And I had a friend in Germany, I had a friend in Africa, and then I had Claudia in the United States, and I consider her one of my pen pals. So having that commitment and that respect and that love and taking care of that friendship like it's gold, like it's golden. Making it a serious decision, saying, I value you, I love you, and I respect you so much that I want to keep this friendship alive.
I want to make a comment on that, on what you said about gold. Remember last night how we were talking about friends and stuff, and how I was talking about friends are like, you just got to find a gem, right?
Exactly.
You're one of those gems to me.
Oh,
Trey is
beautiful.
one of those gems to me. Jose, all these friends that I've known for so long, and that I've gotten to really nourish and become deep friends with you guys, right? It's a rare occurrence. You don't find people who align with the same, not even mindset, but just kind of moral system and appreciation for things that you guys connect. Like I
Yes.
said, friends, you have to have some sort of common ground for it to kind of work, right?
Yes.
So, not necessarily everything you believe in has to be exactly, because me and Joey are very, very different, right?
Yes.
As we know, me and Joey are
Very
so different
different.
from the start. We've always been so different, people. But I believe that's why we've been so successful in a friendship in a way, because we've taught each other so much about different things, right? It's
Yeah.
Yeah.
if we were the exact same people, then it wouldn't be interesting,
Yeah.
It's so much fun.
And
that
people
way.
do say opposites attract, and I really think it gives it a good balance when you meet people that are your opposite, and you learn to communicate, you learn to have a good friendship, and just having a strong foundation, because you made that commitment to be your friend, you want to be friends with this person. The problems begin when the other person or one of the two people just don't want that commitment. They leave it, they don't really care, they don't show respect, they show a lot of jealousy, and the moment something goes wrong, they kind of detach. I'm sometimes bad at that, because I get so brokenhearted, like I really do, when I have a friend that I love and adore and they break my heart. And I'm like, how could my friend do this to me? Like, how could she think that I did this and she didn't even come ask me? So I think that has to do with good communication. Having good friends and healthy friends has to do with also a good communication. When something bothers you or something is wrong, you need to learn how to communicate it, express it, and solve the problem.
Okay, yeah, that kind of leads me to my next question I wanted you guys to ask you. You're almost answering it pretty much.
Oh, okay.
So I wanted to ask you guys, what do you guys think people should do in the tough times of friendship? So, Mom, you first.
I think when it depends on what kind of tough situation you're talking about.
Well,
So-
maybe arguments, maybe disagreements, maybe tough situations that they're going through. What does it take? What kind of qualities does it take in a person
Yes.
to get through those with a friend?
I can tell you what has worked for me. I need some time. I need some time to kind of understand or maybe reflect on my own, and also not immediately start talking things that might hurt the other person. So I need time to detach a little bit. And I've always told my friend, okay, you know what? I don't agree with what you just said, or I'm hurt of what you just said. It hurt my feelings. I need some time. And it always works for me, because I do need that time alone to kind of think, okay, did this person really mean to say or do this, or what's going on? And a lot of my close friends have learned to, okay, I'm going to give her some time,
Yeah.
because we need time to analyze the situation, and are we really going to make a big deal about it? Or is it something really simple, but at that moment we were just so hurt by it that we were making a big deal out of it? So I always say, kind of stop, separate yourself from that for a moment, but let the person know, hey, you know what you just did or what you just said hurt my feelings. I don't agree with what you just did. I need some time to think about this and kind of cool off. So that's my true and honest suggestion.
So would you say that's sort of like patience? Would you say patience is the key? Because
Probably, yeah.
with time you have to have patience, right? Because
Yes.
otherwise, if you have no patience, you're just going to be like, forget this, I'm out of here. But if you have some patience
Yes.
and maturity, then you'll be like, I need to step away from this.
Yeah.
You know, I need some time for my
Yeah.
to reevaluate this, right?
Yeah. So we need to go on a short break, but when we come back, we'll continue to have this amazing conversation about friendships, how to keep your healthy friendships, and how to not just for friendships, but also for family, because this topic of friendship could be easily applied to family. Hi friends, welcome back. Happy Thursday. We are here talking about the importance of just surrounding yourself with good friends, but how do you keep those good friends around you, and what do you do in case of a problem or a disagreement? How do you handle the problems? And how do you keep those friends that you love and adore around you for a long time?
Yeah. So whenever we left off, my mom was talking about it. So now I wanted to ask Joey about what do you think people should do in the tough times of a friendship?
I think that generally with tough times, someone, or probably both people, need to be willing to compromise. Because compromise is how you generally get over problems. If you have a disagreement, for example, or an argument or a conflict, you're not going to be able to just get your way. That's not what a friendship is about. You shouldn't be trying to, purvey that selfish kind of mindset. You need to be willing to come up to the other person and say, hey, I know this happened, but I think we can come to an agreement sort of in the middle, you know?
Yeah.
I think a lot of the times that's the solution, because a lot of the times when people have conflicts, they don't make that connection with the other person. They try to explain their point of view, and they try to say, this is how it is. You need to see it through my lens. But that's not always the right way to go about it, I don't think.
Yeah, maybe
So-
people need to like open up to listening to the other part of the friendship and take that into consideration instead of being so I don't know, uptight about it.
Close-minded.
Close-minded, yeah, right?
Yeah. So
Be willing.
compromise and open-mindedness, I would say, are some good qualities to
Being
have.
open to compromising, right?
Absolutely.
So,
Yes.
and I would say for myself, what I find to help me get through the tough times of relationships and problems. And before we start talking about friendship being like family, I want to say that with my sister, I find myself sometimes getting in arguments with her, like any other brother and sister would, right? But I feel like the solution that I find to be is to remember, we're mad at each other and we're going at it sometimes, but I just remember, like, at the end of the day, we're not going to be mad at each other for all this, we're gonna look at each other and be like, come on, dude, I love you, is this really worth fighting for? Like this, like is this really what we're doing? No, we're family. We're literally best friends for life. Are we really gonna do this? No,
Yes.
we're not. Just let this little problem ruin such a big picture like friendship, something so powerful like friendship and family and love and kindness. Are we
That's
really gonna
right.
do that?
That's right. And you just brought that a very good point, because today we had career day at school, and you were one of the speakers.
Yes, that was awesome.
That was so awesome. I was so proud of you for coming out to the school and,
Yeah.
and showing your gifts and the talents that you possess and sharing it with the students. But I mentioned this was because I think when you have siblings, you learn to better become you learn to become problem solvers when you have siblings, because you have to argue, but then you have to kind of come into peace, and so mom and dad are not grounding you or spanking you or whatever whatever parents do,
Disciplining you, yeah.
disciplining you. But you know, when I wrote The Annoying Little Brother years ago, one of the things I said was the purpose for this book is because I wanted my kids to get along and live in perfect harmony, but mainly was for my kids to focus on the positive side of every situation. So every time there's any kind of disagreement or any confrontation, I always wanted my kids to look at the positive side of what they were doing. Okay, yeah, so Alexis didn't give you the paper you wanted and you guys got into an argument. So what are we going to do next time? Alexis needs to share the paper, you know, or provide paper for you because she was the oldest.
Yeah.
Little simple stuff like that. So really a good friendship, in a good friendship, you become a great problem solver. You learn to communicate. Once you make the commitment, like Joey mentioned earlier, you then, you know, look at every situation in a positive way. You're not going to be, if you're constantly looking at every situation negatively and you're attacking the other person and you're saying, you're wrong, I'm right, then you're not going to get anywhere. But if you sit down and you reflect and you have that time to think about, okay, what can I do to solve this problem? What was the good? What can I do that is good here as well? So I think it also always takes me back to The Annoying Little Brother, because that was the purpose of that book, for you guys to always look at situations in a good way so you would stop fighting and arguing. But I apply that to my students, and when I share the stories, it's like, what can we do here in the classroom so you all can become friends and get along? Because we're a family, you know, we're a family in the classroom with my students. So I think that's really important. You guys have become more of a positive thinkers, and I see that in Joey. Joey's so positive, even when there's a disagreement, even with us as a family, and he's there. He's like, okay, let's stop and think about this or something. You know, you're like this little teacher, and I heard you and Mark also discuss things about things that happen, and you're actually problem solving. That's really what it is at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I'm curious to read, like, how do our listeners you know, solve the comments. Yeah, and there was a gentleman that mentioned that for him, he mentions friendship as just like having a brother and a sister. There's gonna be problems, there's gonna be arguments. At the end of the day, you know, you have each other for life, so you better get along, which is what you just said.
Yeah.
You know, so thank you for posting your comments. We want to say hi to Juani Obregon and Les for joining us, Tony Diaz, Jaime Gamboa also for joining us. If you guys want to give us your input, we love to hear what you're thinking. You guys are also amazing friends to some really cool people. Obviously, you are my friends as well, so you're one of my cool friends, and thank you for listening to the show Shine with Mariela Cortez and Mark Sedgwick.
So, yeah, of course. I want to mention another thing about friendship, Joey. Like, you know how it could start off so small, you know, just as a little seed, right? Like, just two kids riding down their scooters and my mom telling me to go out there and make some friends, right?
Yeah.
And that's what it started off as, but as we grow up together, you know, the bond grows and everything, and it's really awesome, and we have each other's back, and it becomes like we're brothers now, right? Like, that's what I always say, like, you're my brother and I'm gonna have you always for life, right? So, and me and you, for some reason, we don't really argue very much.
No.
I don't know why. Maybe we just aren't like those kind of people.
You're good problem solvers, though. You are. That's why you
Yeah.
don't argue. You are good problem solvers. So
Yeah.
we have 1 minute.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask Joey, what do you think? Why do you think we don't argue? Like I feel like so many people are always fighting and always arguing. What do you attribute to me and you having like such a tight bond and like always doing that, always being mediators?
I think that we have a lot of those qualities that we've already discussed. I think anytime that there is potential for an argument to arise, we usually we sense that, and anytime that happens, we either address it directly, which is something a lot of people don't do. A lot of people let it fester and grow because they think it's awkward or it's unnatural to, you know, just come out and say, hey, I don't like where this is going. I think we need to cool it before, you know, it turns serious.
Yeah.
They don't want to get uncomfortable.
Exactly.
Yes.
And uncomfortability is like, that's going to happen either way. It's going to be worse if you don't address it. So it's
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
Yes.
so true. That's so powerful, man.
Okay, well, thank you so much. What I want to leave you with is if you are lucky to have that type of gem in your life, that type of friend, it's like a diamond or gold, like we mentioned in the beginning.
Yeah.
If you are lucky to have that kind of friend, keep it, water it, treasure it like it's golden. Spend time with that person as much as you can, and stay away from them as much as you need to be away to reflect, meditate, but mainly become a good problem solver. That can apply to your family relationships, to your spouse, to your partners that are around you, even at work. Learn to be a good friend, a good listener. Make that commitment that if you choose somebody to be your friend and you want them for life, do your part, become a good friend, and never stop learning and sharing information and solving those problems that you encounter each and every day. So until next time, we'll see you next Thursday. There's no show because of Thanksgiving, so have a beautiful Thanksgiving with all your family, and be thankful for the people around you, and keep those gems forever.
Yes.
Take care and happy holidays.
Happy holidays, guys. Thank you.
Bye.